West Side Story is directed by Steven Spielberg and stars Ansel Elgort and Rachel Zelger, and tells the story of two people from two very different parts of New York, one populated by Puerto Ricans and one populated by New Yorkers. And two gang rivals, the Jets and the Sharks, don't get along. And in the midst of that, two people find love within each other, and that is Tony and Maria, played by Ansel and Rachel. And these two start to form a relationship with one another after one meeting at a dance, and this causes a lot of friction between them, their families, and the gang. And they have to figure out how they're able to pursue their love for one another while being part of pe- two groups of people that really hate each other, basically. And this is a musical. This is Steven Spielberg's first musical that he's directed, and to be honest, he did a pretty good job. Now, if you know me, you know that I'm a massive fan of Spielberg. You know that the guy is basically the person who inspired me to make movies, who got me into filmmaking in the first place, into art also in a way. I have a bunch of his movies in the shelf, as you could see: Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Jaws, E.T., Red Player One, and that and these four don't fit. The Post, Bridge of Spies, Close Encounters. I love his films. I don't have all of his films. I haven't watched every single one of his films, but I can tell you that this is a director I've seen the most films of because he is that good to me. And so going to the film, I was kind of scared because I did not want this movie to be a just a good movie. I wanted it to be a great movie, like how I felt about Ready Player One. You guys know that I really enjoyed that film and I thought it was great. And Bridge of Spies was a really good one too. This is going to go down as one of Spielberg's classics, I think. This film, apart from one minute flaw with one character that I have, everything else was perfect. The choreography of the dance sequences, the acting, the musical performances, the cinematography, Spielberg's immaculate direction. It's all here, and it is done beautifully. Ansel Elgort and Rachel Zelger do they just do the characters justice. And this is not me being a fan of the stage play or the movie that came out in 1961. I haven't watched either of those. This is just me judging them as Spielberg characters in a Spielberg movie, and as a movie on its own. And to me, these actors do a phenomenal job, especially Ansel in the film, who gives, in my opinion, apart from Baby Driver, his best performance in a film ever. Rachel Zelger was also surprised that I haven't seen her in anything before, at least as I know of, but she also did a great job and brought a lot of heart to the character, and she felt like a character that was able to keep control of her own life, even though some of her family members seem to want to try and control in a way, and you could tell that's eating at her. You could tell that she wants to be free, and her meeting this boy at this dance just ignited that fire within her to for that to be the chance for her to be free with somebody without being told one way or another. And the Jets and the Sharks, the people in those groups, they all do a great job. All the actors, their musical performances, their choreography, it is great. The dance choreography and musical performances here and everything are phenomenal. They're really catchy. They also make you feel like you are in the 1960s, 50s, or 40s, around that era. And it kind of almost reminded me of King Kong in the way that movie set its tone of New York. Not that's exactly like King Kong, but I felt like these two films got the sense of an old school 1940s, 50s New York done right. The atmosphere, the rubble, the buildings being built, the muddy streets and everything. It was all beautifully done, and that's because of the great production design as well, helping accompany these performances too. Wow, this is nothing like what was that? In the Heights from earlier this year, which that film was very creative. This one is more focused on the human performances more than the visuals of everything. And the performances from the body languages, from the dancing, that it was all beautiful to see. Spielberg did a great job directing these big musical performances, and I just my favorite had to be Maria, in which Ansel Elgort, after he meets the girl, Maria was such a beautiful song. I honestly loved it, and if Ansel's performance in the musical scenes as well is phenomenal. He is a great singer. I gotta be honest. Uh, if I had to have one flaw, we'll kind of have to get into spoiler territory, so minor spoilers here. So there's this one character in the film that I felt like could have been developed better because he does something and he's important to the final act. And he was set up a little bit in the first act, but in the second act, it felt like they kind of forgot about him, or it felt like he was in the background. I just didn't felt his importance to the story was there. I didn't feel like he was important until the third act, in which he became important all of a sudden. And I think that was because they were so focused on the other things like the other characters or the musical stuff and everything that they kind of forgot about this moment of the film. And so felt like the ending could have had a little bit more of a punch. Even though the ending was still great, I just felt like it could have had a little bit more of a punch if they developed that one character a little better. But other than that, I found the musical performances and songs all memorable and great, especially Maria, as I said. The performances, the actual performances from the actors are great. The directing from Spielberg is immaculate. He constructs a lot of long takes, a lot of beautiful shots to make these scenes feel real, not just real, but feel loud, bombastic, feel like you're in the 1950s or 40s. And he got the tone down right, exactly. This to me is the perfect quintessential Spielberg classic. And despite that one flaw that I have with the film, it is not enough for me to give West Side Story an A plus. Please go check this out. This is not just me being a Spielberg fan, even though I kind of have a bias already, but this really is a really well directed film and one of the best musicals I have ever seen, and you should definitely check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.